I'm sure you've heard of Tallinn's famous medieval old town, but today we're going to show you a different side of the city, some of which you might recognise from the movie Tenet, because a surprising amount of Tallinn was used as the backdrop for the film. And since my partner Timo is from Estonia, he's offering his unique perspective as a local as well. We're starting off at Linnahall. Originally known as the Lenin Palace of Culture and Sports, this huge complex was built for the 1980 Moscow Olympics, when Tallinn, and of course Estonia, was under Soviet rule. Casting a deserted shadow over the harbour, Linnahall served as a stand-in for the Kiev Opera House in the opening scenes of Tenet. It was also used as a concert hall until 2009, and now it sits on the edge of the Baltic Sea, more or less abandoned. While the future of the building is unclear, Linnahall serves as a great spot to soak in views across the city for both locals and visitors. Another Soviet-era relic is Maarjamäe Memorial. Beyond the old town walls, northeast of the city centre, lies Maarjamäe Memorial. Its sharp lines and sweeping concrete made another ideal backdrop for Tenet. But the real history here is more controversial. The memorial features different sections commemorating Soviet soldiers who died fighting various conflicts. But most of these battles were actually fought against Estonian soldiers who were trying to protect their country's independence. So it makes sense that no funding is being put into the memorial's upkeep anymore, and it will continue to deteriorate until it's deemed as unsafe.
You know, the way to my heart is through old brutalist monuments.
Just next door, investments have been made into Estonia's Victims of Communism Memorial, which opened in 2018. The memorial is dedicated to the Estonian people who were imprisoned, hoarded, and murdered under Soviet occupation from 1940 to 1991. This was the first time Timo had visited the memorial, having left Estonia to come to Australia not long after it opened, and it was a place that we both found deeply moving. It's a worthy visit to see the juxtaposition of both of these memorials side by side.
Babushka.
Now we're making our way to Lasnamäe. Lasnamäe is actually the most populous district of Tallinn, and the main artery into the area, Lasnamäe Road, featured in the car chase scene from Tenet. Lasnamäe is essentially a micro-district and is known for its Soviet-era apartment buildings. Again, not without controversy, most of the apartment blocks in the area were given to Russian immigrants during Soviet times. But as a young student in Tallinn, Timo found himself living in an apartment building here because of its cheap rent.
And this is where Timo used to live.
But still, during the 1980s, local Estonians started to call Stop Lasnamäe. Quite literally, the chorus rang out in song Mingem üles Magadele during the country's singing revolution, which was instrumental in a national reawakening amongst the Baltic countries and in their restoration for independence. Back towards the city centre, you'll find the Roterman Quarter. This used to be an industrial area that's now a vibrant entertainment and shopping precinct. It really serves as a symbol of Tallinn's rapid development since regaining independence. On the opposite side of the old town, not far from Tallinn's main railway station, is the Balti Turg. This lively market has fresh produce, delicatessens, butchers, and hip eateries. Upstairs in the market, you'll also find vintage clothes and my favourite section, the antiques market, filled with more Soviet oddities and random treasures. Even though there's a lot to see beyond Tallinn's old town, no visit to Tallinn is complete without getting lost in its medieval streets. Tallinn's old town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that dates back to the 13th century, and it's considered one of the best preserved medieval centres in all of Europe. It was the Danes who established one of the first castles in the old town on Toompea Hill, before the city became a major trading centre under the Hanseatic League. The Hanseatic League was a series of merchant guilds and towns that dominated trade across the Baltic region, and it was during this time that wealthy merchants continued to add to the fabric of the old town. The 16th and the 17th centuries saw Tallinn and Estonia at large under Swedish rule before Imperial Russia also left its mark. The patchwork of the old town tells the tale of the city and the country at large, a country whose centuries under foreign rule have led to a fiercely independent country and people today. There are several amazing viewing platforms in the upper old town on Toompea Hill. And hot tip, Estonians aren't the earliest risers, so they can be nice and quiet in the early morning. Regardless of the time of the day that you visit though, soaking in the views and seeing the modern city expand beyond the old town is the perfect reminder that Tallinn's beauty isn't just in the old town, but in the contrast of everything around it. This is where the country's past and present meet in unexpected ways.